The first snapshot for the Chaos Cubed drop brought us new data and resource pack versions with data-driven Sulfur Cube archetypes and more. My name is Sliced Lime and this is a showcase. Apologies for the delays, I am still catching up after my vacation last week. Let's start with the Sulfur Cube. Archetypes are data-driven in the Sulfur Cube archetype registry. Each archetype has 3 fields. Items, which is an item ID, list of item IDs, or item tag describing which items activate the archetype. Buoyant defines whether the archetype floats in liquid. And attribute modifiers is a list of attribute modifiers that get activated by the archetype. Together with this, there are changes to attributes in this version. There are 3 new ones. Bounciness defines how the speed of an entity is affected by colliding with a block or another entity, from 0 causing all of the speed to disappear to 1 causing all of the speed to remain with the direction of movement changed by the bounce. If an entity bounces on a block that is in itself bouncy, like slime blocks or beds, the maximum of the bounciness of the block and the entity is used. Friction modifier determines how much ground friction is applied to the entity with regards to the block it is on. The default is 1, and possible values range from 0 to 2048. Air drag modifier determines how much drag is applied to an entity while in the air, with the same default and range as for friction modifier. One more attribute change. The knockback resistance attribute now accepts values down to -2. It was previously capped at 0. Negative values amplify the knockback rather than reduce it. Another Sulfur Cube related change is a new item component, Sulfur Cube Content, which is an item representation of the contents of a Sulfur Cube. There's a new game event in this version, Bounds, with a frequency of 2. And a new particle, Sulfur Cube Goo. Let's turn our attention to world generation, where there are a number of changes. Let's start with density functions, where a bug fix means the clamp function can now use references. In feature news, the pointed dripstone feature type has been renamed to Speleothum. The chance of taller dripstone field has been renamed to chance of taller generation, and 3 new fields have been added. Base block and the pointed block are block states to place, and replaceable blocks is a block tag of blocks that can be replaced. The dripstone cluster feature type has similarly been replaced by Speleothum cluster with the same 3 block fields, as well as a number of renamed fields with Speleothum instead of dripstone. The large dripstone feature type now also has a replaceable blocks field. There are 2 new feature types in this version. Sequence takes a list of placed features and generates them in that order. If any of the features fail to generate, the following ones are skipped. It has a single field, features, which is a list of placed features or a placed feature tag. And the template feature places a structure template chosen from a weighted list of templates, possibly applying a rotation. A number of feature fields have also been turned from only accepting tags to also accepting IDs or list of IDs, which also applies to the Infiniburn field in dimension types. There's also a new surface rule in this version, Noise Gradient. It has 2 fields, Noise containing a noise ID, and Gradient, a non-empty list with block states to place at that index. There are also a few command fixes. The game no longer freezes when using the locate structure command in a world without structures. Mobs can no longer be made to look like they're stuck in the death animation using commands. And the advancement command now has more output. When changing the state of multiple advancements, the output now reports how many were changed. When changing the state of advancements for multiple players, the output now reports how many players were affected. And a timeline bug fix for a bug causing cubic Bezier easing functions to sometimes produce the wrong values. Tag news in this version. A new block tag for suppresses bounds, along with collection tags for glazed terracotta and concrete, as well as concrete powder being renamed to concrete powders. There are also tags for how quickly shears can break blocks. The collection tags also exist in item tag form, together with the new tags for Sulfur Cube Food and Sulfur Cube Swallowable, as well as a tag for each archetype. There's also a new damage type tag for Sulfur Cube with Block Immune 2. And that's all the data pack news. In resource pack news, in addition to textures and models for all the added things, a number of text shaders have been replaced by the core text and core text background shaders, and the variants are now controlled by the is GUI, is see-through, and is grayscale shader defines. And that's all for these pack versions. Thank you for watching. My name is Slime, and I'll see you next time.